doing? I'm good. How are you? Thank you for joining. Thank you. What is that? JLJ? Hey y'all. Okay, so I see y'all want to talk about accountability tonight. Good. So, welcome to the Becky Brown Girl show. I'm your girl, Becky Brown, and tonight I want to talk about accountability. Not just our expectation of accountability for others that we deal with, but our own personal accountability, which I think is an important topic of conversation. So I'm glad y'all are here. I'm hopeful that my son is gonna join, because he and I were talking earlier and he had some thoughts he wanted to share. So hopefully I'll see him on here later. But in the meantime, oh, you funny. Tax pro, not accounting. But so accountability is a concept that obviously applies to many facets of our lives. It's about taking ownership and being responsible for decisions and choices that you make in your life, staying 10 toes down, standing on what you said, being about your word, so on and so forth. And I think personal accountability is kind of like for those who have like a 9-to-5 or work for the man, like a personal performance review, right? So you are assessing whether you are meeting certain goals you set for yourself, whether you're accepting responsibility for certain behaviors and things that you might do that are either positive or detrimental in your life, in your personal relationships, in your professional relationships. And I think sometimes, a lot of times, in the story of our lives, people sometimes like to characterize themselves as the hero or the victim, never the villain, or at minimum, the antagonist in the story. Like they're always, the one being wronged somehow. Not everyone, of course. I mean, some people are responsible and will take accountability for their stuff, but there are definitely some people who operate in that way. And I think it's difficult to have a meaningful connection to somebody who's never wrong, right? So, and we know full well that we're all fallible humans, right? So you wrong sometimes. Sometimes it's you. And so I wanted to talk about, again, kind of acknowledging that sometimes you're wrong in a situation and how you take ownership over your personal relationships, your professional relationships, goals you set, kind of what you do to employ personal accountability and responsibility in your own life. For instance, like people who say they have fitness goals, I'll use that as an example because I have them myself. I had a few years ago gotten to a weight that I never saw before in my life, even when I was 9 months pregnant with my son. And I've talked about this before, like this is no shame to anybody, who's thick, but that didn't work for me. And so because I had gotten to a situation where I didn't think I could overcome it on my own, I enlisted the help of a trainer who became my coach, who I need to go back and see. Shout out to Fit King Plem at Level Up Studio in Fort Lee, New Jersey. I've also worked with some other amazing trainers, but I don't want to digress. Point is, I acknowledged that I had an issue for me that I couldn't overcome on my own. So he was my accountability. Um, Now, the intention wasn't to stay with him like in perpetuity. I was going to go off on my own and then be accountable myself. Um, and there have been breaks in between, like currently, where I haven't been training with him. But then it's on me, right? Because I said I have this goal that I want to achieve to make a plan and stick with it. Now, being honest, I haven't been sticking to the script as much as I should. Um, and, that's me being accountable and saying, you know, like you got to get your ass back on track. That's me doing my personal performance review, my personal assessment, and not just going with kind of what people on the outside tell me. I have to look inward and, and be accountable to myself. So, um, with that said, um, again, I'm talking about accountability broadly, but if anybody wants to join me to share their opinions on, how you manage to be accountable in your own relationships, professionally, personally, or if there are goals that you have where um, you might be struggling with accountability, maybe you have good strategies for being accountable. I think some people are just kind of hardwired to be very disciplined and very focused. And so it's easy for them. And so they don't understand for somebody like myself, who is kind of, um, I'm like easily distracted. I can kind of be all over the place. That focusing for me is more of a challenge. And sometimes I like to wing it, and that approach doesn't work, when you're trying to get to certain goals. So again, if anyone has specific thoughts they want to share on how they are accountable to themselves, um, and these might not even be goals that other people know about, but just you, but how you hold yourself accountable, your expectation of accountability from other people in your life. If any of you want to share any of those thoughts, I'd love you to join me. Let me see who is on here that I recognize. Oh, Roderick, you should definitely join me. Um, who else is on here? I know. Yeah, I think you're right though. So Fasson Couture said that he thinks the people who cry victim are usually the wolf. Probably. Like I said, it's easy to blame others for, you know, for suffering in your life. And I'm not saying other people are never at fault, but if you yourself never take any accountability, then I mean, come on, like we're grown. So everything is not always somebody else. Sometimes it's you. Um, Let me see. How do you join? I'm gonna send you a request, Roderick. Let's see. Actually, when you look up,
Wow, 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 wow.
how are you?
Interesting.
Uh,
I'm great. I'm great. How are
You know
you?
what? You're the perfect person to talk to about this. A damn Aquarian.
Right, right, right. Definitely crying.
I got beef with the Aquarians, right?
I don't know why, but it's interesting the beef that you have with an Aquarius. So accountability, man, that's actually a good topic.
It is.
Um,
So share your thoughts.
I think accountability is personal sometimes.
So wait, hold
It's
on, hold on. I'm sorry.
okay.
Just if you don't mind introducing yourself to the people, and then you can, because you got a business.
Yeah.
Put your business information in the chat when
All
when you get a chance.
right. My name is Roderick Murray. My brand is Fason Couture. I'm out of Baltimore, Maryland. My Instagram is Fason_Couture. So if you want to make a purchase, my Instagram is actually FasonCouture.com, and we can do good business.
Did you hear that? Tee.
So, like I
Sorry.
said, I think accountability is personal, and account a person can only take accountability when they see growth within themselves. So a lot of times, most people may run away from accountability because they're not ready to accept themselves. So I think accountability is really, really important, especially when you, depending on the situation, not depending on the situation whether or not you want to accept accountability, but depending on the situation, because a lot of times us as individuals, we could be wrong in a situation, and because of pride and ego, we won't accept and acknowledge accountability. And for a long time, that was me when it came to certain things in my personal life. But when it came to taking accountability, what I may have done to others, I've always been that solid guy that did that because I live under the principles of respect. So in order to get respect, I must give respect. And if I've wronged someone, I don't have a problem with taking accountability for whatever part that I played in the situation. Now, when it came to me personally, I think accountability comes with growth. And for a long time, I thought that I was a man. And the description is male, boy, man. So they're three different things. And for a long time, I was a boy trapped in a man's body, and I say that because I didn't accept accountability of the things that I did with my life, in my life. I've always made excuses for things that could have helped me grow as a man. And I think sometimes when you are at a certain point in life, it's hard to accept it. It's hard to accept it because you don't want to feel as though, okay, I'm giving in. I'm giving into the bullshit. I'm giving into the bullshit. But now it's about accepting accountability and taking your place in the affairs of men. So for a long time I wrestled with that. I wrestled with that for a long time. But as I matured as a man and I went through that maturation phase, I allowed myself to take accountability for my actions.
Okay, I like it. Okay. So does that mean, for instance, like, when you're dating or something, that if you do something that you know is wrong to your partner, or you say something that your partner might, take a certain way, even if it's not your intention, are you willing to apologize? Because you said pride. A lot of
Yes, yeah.
people.
I mean, yes, I'm definitely willing to apologize if I know that I was wrong. But I think sometimes in the heat of everything, most people, especially men, sometimes it's hard to let go our ego and just to say, fuck it, I was wrong. You know, and like I said, it comes with a maturation process. You feel what I'm saying? You have to be mature as a man or a woman to accept accountability in certain situations. Now, as I said earlier, a lot of times when people constantly come, as the victim, sometimes they're the wolf,
No,
and they just trying to
I
get
agree.
a group of individuals to actually uh, uh, side with their
I,
story.
I,
So
I agree. And so, like, again, I know that I don't always take accountability for my actions. Although now that I'm older, I try to, like, look at a situation and say, how was I wrong in a situation? Like, let's say if I was talking to my girlfriends about,
mhm,
like a relationship situation,
got you.
and I will always say, like, kind of, I'm gonna say the whole picture, which is not always going to make me look good. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not always going to be right. So unlike the perception that a lot of men seem to have, that women don't like to take accountability.
So, but
uh
you just said something key. You say you tell your story. Sometimes you're not. Are you telling the whole story?
no, but that's what I'm saying. It's from my perspective. So it
Okay.
is my version of a story. But when I tell my version of the story, it includes whatever. So I'm gonna say how a situation happened, but it's
Hmm.
coming from my voice and my mouth. So
It's your
it's my
perspective.
version.
All right,
Right.
so let me ask you this. So when you're telling your story, 9 times out of 10 about a guy or, your relationship situation, as you just said, are you looking at the situation and are you telling a person something from an emotional perspective or realistic perspective? Because sometimes we can get so caught up in our emotions and everything that a person do or say may be looked at as them being wrong.
I I mean, look, if I'm talking to somebody, like, let's say I just got into an argument, my as I've established, my temper can be fiery. So,
Hmm.
and it's not always that. Excuse you, not not. Wait, hold on. I gotta add my baby
No,
boy. Well, he's
that's
not your
cool. That's
baby,
cool,
but
man. That's cool. That's cool. Ed
okay.
the
So
young
so
man.
so hold on.
No,
I'm gonna add
I'm I'm
because he
in.
got things to do and people to see. So while I
Okay.
have him, um, I think he'll be on any second, hopefully, or this is going to turn into a thing. Darius, I'm sending you the request. What is you doing?
There you go.
Oh,
What's up, mama?
here goes my baby.
He looked just like you.
You can't even see him now,
Nah,
Darius.
nah, I gotta what's it called? I gotta go check this one room because we're supposed to be having an event here next week. So I gotta make sure that this room is free, for when we want to have our event. So that's why I'm walking.
So, can you talk when you get to the? Because I can't see you at all.
You can't see me at all. Is that dark?
I can see him.
Well, I can't see you. Maybe because I have the bright light in my face. But anyway,
Yeah, that's probably why.
so um, well, can you call? Can you come back when you get to where you're going?
I mean, I can, but I'm only gonna be there briefly. So I'm gonna still be walking. So I won't be back to like a decent, bright enough spot for like another like 10ish minutes.
All right. All right. So Roderick, I'm sorry to interrupt you because you were spitting,
No, no,
but
no. Baby
Darius,
boy got something to say. Let baby boy say something.
Was
my beloved son, introduce yourself to the people, even though they can hardly see you there,
all
and
right. Well,
a
I'm
little
under a
something about
street
yourself.
lamp now, so y'all can probably see me. But how y'all doing? I'm Darius. I'm her son. Um, and if there's any signals in the chat, go mob to the good bros.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, we were just talking about, like, I was talking about accountability in the context of like, uh, it not just in the context of personal relationships, but I know when we were talking earlier, you said you had a lot to say on the topic of women and accountability, and you're not the only one. So look, act like you was raised right, and like so don't get on here talking crazy, or I will send you up out of here. I don't care if you my
Damn.
son. Okay,
What up?
so I'm waiting on you.
Well, I mean, I thought you were gonna ask me something.
I am asking you something. I'm asking you what is your opinion on well, okay. Let's start with personal accountability because I
Okay.
feel like hopefully, your dad and I have taught you something about personal accountability, but also I assume, from your experience with the
Yo, I'm
fraternity.
crying.
What?
One of the comments is like, "Your son in here, so y'all act right."
Exactly. Thank you, Wes. Okay, so go ahead.
So, so basically, what? Just like my opinion on taking personal accountability.
Well, that, and then if you wanted to add your little commentary on,
I mean,
accountability and
all right, no,
relationships.
no problem. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, like when it comes to accountability, at the end of the day, we're all grown as. Oh, let me watch my mouth. We're all grown behind adults. So, hold on, I'm about to walk by a bus, so y'all might not hear me as good. So hold on, give me like 5 seconds. All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So basically, now what I was saying, when it comes to personal accountability, at the end of the day, we're all adults, and I just feel that honestly, at the end of the day, we're all in control of what we do, our decisions, from a day-to-day basis, whether it be financially, emotionally. physically, everything that we do at the end of the day is on us, and you are responsible for you, unless you're in a position where you can't be responsible for you, like you were say disabled or something like that. But those are extenuating circumstances. Those don't really exist like that. So for the most part, it's on you as an adult to be your best self and to be on on top of your shit. That's it. I mean, whether it be a good decision or a bad decision, it's on you at the end of the day. Whether you're in a certain situation that you don't like, all right, well, what are you going to do to get out of it? What are you going to do, from stuff like as simple as just going to the gym? Um, like me personally, I'm someone who's been slacking off in the gym, and I take personal accountability for that. That's my fault. I need to go back and I need to start getting right, and I need to start doing this, and this. If you're in a relationship that you don't like, okay, well, what are you doing to get out of it? And again, there are extenuating circumstances where, say, for instance, maybe the partner is abusive, you can't get out of that, but at the same time, you're responsible for you at the end of the day. Again, we're all grown; we can all make decisions for ourselves. That's just the point blank. That's just the end of it.
Can you get in the light?
I'm on I'm on the darkest part of campus right now, bro. There's
Well,
like
why don't you go
very
there? And you know what? You're a wankster.
listen, I'm
Anyway,
multitasking.
all right. So if so,
Uh-huh.
uh, because you date and so on, do you want to add anything before I get back to Roderick and let you go about accountability in personal relationships?
Um I mean
Shut up, Les.
honestly, I don't got too much to say about it. Again, at the same time, like everyone's grown, everyone's adults. Like I do feel like, women typically do not take accountability as much as they should. But at the same time, I
I
feel
agree.
like when you're dealing
I
when you
agree.
are dealing with someone who is mature, obviously women gonna women, and then they gonna have their moments where they just turn a blind eye and they act like, or they gonna when they know they're wrong, they just gonna be like, damn, he got me. So I'm gonna just find a way to ease my way up out of this. But for the most part, if you're dealing with someone who's mature enough to recognize when they're wrong, then you're golden. I mean, I know men do it. I trust me. There's definitely been times recently where I've told someone, what's called that I was wrong in the past or I did something wrong. So, like I apologize for that. But there's also been times where I have been like, I'm gonna just turn the other cheek because I ain't want to take that accountability. It sucks, it feels a little rough in the moment, but I mean, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do and be the bigger person. That's it. Regardless if it's a relationship, friendship, anything. That's just being a mature human being.
Shout out to my baby.
All right, here.
Yeah,
That
raised
was
him
good
right.
spill. That was good
Can you see me
spill,
now?
young man. Yeah, we can see you.
Yes. Isn't he handsome?
But
Anyway,
I'm about to go look at this room real quick. So I will talk to you later. I hope you have a good rest of your life.
thank you. I love
So you
you.
too.
Talk to you later.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Okay, X out of here. Okay, thank you.
Back to you.
So no, back to you. Or
I'm
what was I
listening.
saying? Oh, I was talking about how, like he said, um, I hear, quite a few men talking about women not taking accountability. I don't feel like it's gender specific, but I don't date women, so I can't speak to whether or not they're taking accountability in relationships. I know if I am wrong, like if I am at the height of a moment, right? I'm not a grudge holder. So sometimes I'll do is like, or what I have done in the past is like, I might go off and then I was able to release that, that frustration or whatever. And then I feel better.
Hmm.
And then, I might just kind of go back to acting like
Like
everything is
nothing never
normal.
happened.
Meanwhile, I just like exploded, on the person and some people, depending on the type of personality you're dealing with, they're like, I know you effing lying.
What your son said was very interesting, and what he said and what you said about a good percentage of men, you know, think that women should take accountability for a lot of things. I mean, I've often felt that way too, because when you meet a woman, sometimes a woman, when you ask her about her life, or you ask her about her kids, dad, or her children, or whatever you ask her about, the first thing that she comes in with is men, XYZ, woo, woo, woo. So then, my response to her is, what did you do? And most women will respond, "Oh, I didn't do anything." So they're responding from a perspective of they was always the victim, but that's not true. A lot of times when you just sit and you listen to the story, you know, sometimes, most times, they're the victimizers. They're the victimizers sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, look,
So
I don't
I'm listening.
disagree. I don't disagree that they're sometimes the victimizer. Um, all I know is in a relationship, it's never one sided unless the person is like abusing,
Yeah,
like
I
one
mean, if a
person is
person is
abusing the other person.
if a person is physical or mentally abusive, I mean, of course you're gonna have victims from that standpoint. But listening to a good percentage of women, and I'm saying a good percentage, or I didn't give a large or small percentage, um, they will always tell a story from a victim's perspective. That's just their thing. It's just like, it's almost like they want you to feel some type of sympathy for them, and actually, oh yeah, yeah, that dude wasn't nothing. He wasn't this, he wasn't that. So, a lot of times, if you listen carefully to the story, most women will tell on themselves.
Where are the ladies up in here? I need somebody,
You know,
mom. I need somebody to come in
they will
here and
tell
have my back. No,
they will tell on
look,
themselves.
no, but like I said, I don't, again, I don't want this to be like a battle of the sexes
No,
because
it's
ultimately,
not a bad,
no,
we're definitely having a dialogue. Sometimes, and the crazy part about having a dialogue, these are issues that go on every day. Relationships, things of that nature. This is things that are talked about every day. So, social media, the news, anything, newspapers, we're talking about something. We may talk about cars, clothes, and things of that nature, but somewhere in the realm of everything, relationship topics come up,
of
and they
course,
need to be addressed.
yeah,
As I said before, I think that, black men and black women are at war with each other.
yeah.
And no one wants to take accountability to say, you know what, where did we go wrong? Where did this situation go wrong? So nowadays, like I said, I said this to a friend before. A lot of people, when they meet people, men and women, haven't let go of that 2, 3, 5, or 15-year relationship. They may have let it go. They may be free physically, but mentally they're still stuck there. So a lot of times, men and women, a lot of people don't know how to differentiate characteristics from character. Although us men and women, we may share similar characteristics, but character is individual. So you can't group an individual that you don't know into a group of characteristics of the men that you've dealt with. And I think a good percentage of men and women, they do that. I think we are addicted to common phrases, like, at one time, back in the day, Tupac, a lot of rappers back in the day, oh, bitches ain't shit. Guess what we did? We adopted that catchphrase. And we said that, not that we don't even know all women, but we adopted that catchphrase, and it became a part of the culture. It became a part of a person's, everyday language.
Yep.
So it's same way with men. If she was around her mother for a long time, and her mother experienced an abusive man, or so forth and so on, a woman taught her daughter that. Don't let a man get away with this. Don't let him get away because he's sneaky. But you're speaking about the man that you dealt with. Now you're labeling this characteristic on all men. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
that's
yep.
and I think that's where, some parents and some women, they lack accountability, and some men lack accountability.
Uh, yes. Well, so look, like I said, I agree with pretty much everything that you had to say. I mean, and unfortunately, Rob Jr., yes, I will add you, or you can send me a request to be on the live. But Roger's spitting right now. So I'll send you a request in a minute, unless you want to send it to me. But I agree. I think it's unfortunate because it's a lot of the reason why we struggle as a community is because we can't get on the same page, over like little stuff, like, arguing about who's paying the bills, arguing about, I mean, it's not little, but like, just, it's a lot of petty, stupid shit. And it's funny on social media, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I also think that a lot of what happens on Beyonce's internet isn't the way it goes down in
Yeah.
real life either.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I would agree with you about people, carrying over like past behaviors and traumas and triggers and all of that
Mm-hmm.
into new situations. Like I can't say enough about therapy. Now, I've been to like counseling in the past,
Mm-hmm.
relationship counseling or whatever, but rarely, or when I went to like counseling or therapy um on my own, I was still talking about a relationship. It was never about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been going to a therapist now for like a year, and in the beginning I was talking about a relationship situation. Um and I still talk to her about like dating and that type
Mm-hmm.
of stuff. I just kind of talk to her about things that are going on in my life, but I also want to understand myself better and why I'm attracted to certain type of
Mm-hmm.
men, or why, or like recognizing patterns of behavior that are not helping me to achieve, certain goals in my life. So I want to understand myself better. And I won't say I've never like not taken accountability, but obviously the older I get and the better I know myself, I realize no one is 100% right all the time. And
No,
like I
I
and like I said,
therapy.
in a relationship, it takes two to tango. So, like I said, unless you're being abused, you did some shit, and the other person did some shit, and that's why it didn't work
People,
out. And
people, men and women need to let the common shit go, the common buzzwords go, because like I'm gonna tell you, the buzzwords nowadays are fucking narcissistic, toxic. People actually spew these words and not and are not using these words contextually. Everything is narcissistic, everything is toxic, everything is just, people are using these buzzwords. And
wait a
at the
minute,
end of the
hold on, I'm
uh,
sorry. Wes is in here cutting up, talking about they'll find aliens before women take accountability for anything. If you don't get your ass out of here,
yeah, 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 yeah. He might be his ego might have got bruised a few times.
nah,
Um, but
he's my resident comedian,
so
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 don't
so
mind
so
him.
so counseling. Counseling was hard for me.
How come I can't hear you? Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Somebody was calling
yeah,
my phone.
yeah, yeah.
Counseling was hard for me. Counseling was hard for me the first and only go around. Um, it it was hard for me because I'm talking to a total stranger, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm releasing so many things about myself, right? And being a person that I've studied psychology vehemently for maybe 15, 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I often wondered, what if I'm in a therapy session and countertransference happens?
What is that?
It's basically when your counselor person, that you're talking to is going through the same thing you experienced. How can this person help me? Because we're going through the same thing.
But the thing is, they're trained to.
But but they're trained theoretically, because you have your Ed Lurians, you have people that follow Vaughn, you have people that follow Bandora, all these psychoanalysts, right? Because it was crazy because I sat down and I explained a lot about myself to her, but then the other part of my brain say, okay, now I got to find out about her. So after a while, the situation flipped, and she was like, "You're good." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "You're good." She said, because now I'm telling you my personal life. So it was like I got to a point where as though the situation was just it was a stoppage because I felt as though I was telling too much about myself.
But that's
So
what you're
I
supposed to
didn't.
do.
No, but a part of me is like, okay, I'm not gonna tell you so much about me, and I know nothing about you because I know, like I said, you're trained. That's the key word. You're trained to ask certain questions.
Right.
You know, you know, you're trained, but however, at the same time, it's just like just me taking this accountability, for myself, saying, nah, she has me in a vulnerable moment right now. So, I'm not
But
gonna
you're
do that.
but the
But
thing
that's
is you're
just
but the thing is you're right. That's why I think a lot of, us in the culture, even though therapy is more socially accepted nowadays, but a lot of us in the culture are opposed because it's like, why you putting, you know, personal business in the sheet? Why you telling that strange? Why you going to see the lady? Like, why you telling
but
them?
but
Why
but
you
can I
telling
but
them
but but,
personal
but
business?
can I ask you a question? Can
Yeah,
I ask you a
sure.
question?
Yep, yep,
Suppose you go to see your therapist, right?
yep.
What's the other than being trained, because that's the word that you use, right?
Hmm.
Suppose you talk to one of your friends that doesn't see a bias sense and give you the same amount of the same corrective opinion that your therapist will give you, then is your therapist right, more than your friend?
Your friend, people can be very insightful. Like, I'm not, again, so I get on here and I'm talking and I'm sharing my opinions. And as I always say, especially depending on what topics I'm talking about, I'm not professing to be an
Hmm.
expert unless I was talking about like my job or something. I'm not professing to
Hmm.
be an expert on these topics. I'm just sharing my opinions in a forum, just like other people. If I get somebody who is an expert in a certain area, to come and join and share their insight, that's a different story. But I, they might have good advice, but also I have some friends who go to therapy,
Hmm.
so some of the way they think and speak is in that sort of realm because they have been exposed to therapy as well. But the reason why I think a therapist is beneficial
Hmm.
is because they don't know you. They're an objective opinion. They're not
Hmm.
like, look, she could be judging the hell out of me on the inside, but
Hmm.
she doesn't convey that in my interaction with her, and I
So
feel like,
again, you use again. We're talking about trained professionals,
of
trained
course,
clinicians, right? But listen, we're talking about trained
so
individuals.
oh, she
No, 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 no. I'm not. No, no. I'm not knocking what you're saying. I'm adding to what you're saying. I'm
okay.
adding to what you're saying. I'm challenging what you're saying, and I just want a bigger perspective from you and the rest of the people that are
Uh-huh.
looking. So, if this person is trained to ask you certain questions, suppose this person, you're telling this person a story about yourself, and you giving this person, you're pouring your heart out. Suppose this individual is telling you what you want to hear in the moment and not necessarily the truth. How do we deal with that?
I don't think that I don't get the impression, right? I don't get the impression that she's telling me what I want to hear. Like, she's not judging what I'm telling her, right? But what she is doing is, for instance, you know, if I talk to her about a relationship I was previously in,
Hmm.
and then I might talk to her about somebody I'm talking to or somebody I'm dating and why I might be
Hmm.
attracted to this person and certain characteristics about this person and like how I might feel anxiety about certain, aspects of my interaction with this person. And I've already talked to her about my past relationship. She's like, taking notes. And then she'll say, so I'm not making a judgment as to what you should do, but I just want to show you how there's like, this is similar to something that you said was an issue previously in another situation. And so I'm not making a judgment call on what you should do. I'm saying, you know don't sort of leap in head first.
Hmm.
Be like, observe. Don't just take
Hmm.
their word for, which is why I'm also big on, people following up
Is your
their
therapist a woman? Huh?
Like, it's a woman. Yes,
Your,
it's a woman.
your therapist is a woman, right?
Yes.
Suppose that your therapist is giving you a perspective from a woman's perspective and not a clinician, and and not from a therapeutic perspective.
My therapist know what she's talking about. I don't care what you
No,
say.
no, no. I'm not. No, I'm just asking a legit question. Suppose your therapist is giving you a perspective from a woman's perspective and not a clinician, and not from a therapeutic standpoint.
Guess what? I'm a woman. So
You
I'm a
believe
care.
it? No, no. Like I said, it's like we can like I'm not trying to challenge you at
Yes,
all. I just
you
want
are.
to. No. Well, if you want me to get on here and say what you want me to say, I can't.
I
I can't do
don't.
that.
I don't. I appreciate your perspective. I appreciate everything that you've had to share. All I'm saying is like Wes said, she's trained. Just like you said, you
Okay.
studied psychology or whatever. The difference between me talking to her about,
Okay.
my problems or somebody trying to tell me, well, this is what I think is wrong with you, and I'm talking to, some random, person. I'm talking to a friend. I'm talking to somebody whose opinion is subjective. Like, I guess everybody's opinion is subjective. If
Exactly.
if
Whoever
you
this person is right here, this person that just say he's saying, what if the therapist doesn't do their job? That's all I'm saying.
but why are but why
What if
is
what
the
if
assumption that the therapist isn't doing their
be,
job?
because at the end of the day, we all are human beings. We're all
So
are
then
human beings, and
so
we
then you don't
all
believe in therapy because you're
no.
right.
I'm listen. I'm not saying that I don't believe in therapy. I never said that I don't believe in therapy. But a lot of times, sitting down talking to a person, sometimes if what they're saying from a theoretical point of view and not something that they experience themselves, how can they help me? Because at the end of the day, most people will talk to you. See, a lot of people don't know the difference between sympathy, empathy, and apathy. They don't. They don't know how to differentiate that. So if I'm talking to my therapist, right, and I'm talking to her from something that I experience, right, most likely she may respond from a perspective of sympathy. If she's been through what I've been through, she can respond through what I've been through in an
Well,
empathetic
then
way.
you need to see a so if so okay, so here's my takeaway from what you're
He keeps
saying.
saying they train. I get what you're saying. You can train the dog
No, but
to do
hold
everything
on,
that you
hold on,
want them to do.
hold on. A therapist is an expert in their field. Just like, okay, so I could look. So let's use training as an example, right?
Hmm.
And then I want to pivot this conversation because we not now talking about accountability, we talking about something else. Anyway,
Okay,
I
we can get back to
no no
accountability. Let's get back
no hold on. So hold
to
on. I'm just gonna
accountability.
but hold on. I just want to make this one point because I can, like I said, I've worked with a few different trainers. So my my most recent trainer coach, um, they've all, been like well, I won't say all, but like Damn Good Body, shout out to Damn Good Bodies in Philly and Plem in at Level Up there, definitely, have a lot of expertise, right?
Hmm.
You go to school, you study, you do this over many years, you have experience. Thus,
Hmm.
I could go into the gym and some guy who might be buff and built and whatever could give me advice, and maybe he doesn't have certification, maybe he
Hmm.
might have me do some similar exercises, but he doesn't have the maybe he doesn't have the experience of necessarily training people with the educational component behind it or
Hmm.
the whatever. So it's not that I won't necessarily take advice from the person who doesn't have the credential,
Hmm.
but the training, like the training is supposed to mean something, ain't it? Like
Hmm.
I'm not. This is why I'm sort of not understanding what I feel like you just have a
I mean,
particular
I
feeling of.
mean, the example that you just gave, like a personal trainer. So, does a personal trainer versus a person who doesn't have certification, is the person that has certification, is his knowledge more vast than a person that doesn't
Yes,
have it?
maybe
I
yes. So
I just
so you just
so
gonna take advice from anybody?
No, I mean because like I said, I go to a gym around a bunch of cats that don't have any type of collegiate training or certification, and they know how to help an individual sculpt their body.
Okay, well, that's nice. I'm not saying that they might not help. I'm saying I'm gonna go to, you
No,
know,
I get what I get. I get what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying. I definitely don't need Ion or Van Zant. Like I said, my perspective is just like I can't always agree with the norm. That's just not who I am.
that you
So
know what
just
that
because a
is?
person,
You know what that is? That's that Aquarius shit. You see what I'm talking about? But what I'm gonna say is because we done gone all around the world
no,
now
no, that's why I
on
said get back to
accountability.
what we were saying.
Uh all right. So um so in conclusion, because I'm gonna let
Let Wes on. I want to hear what he has to say.
Wes
Uh,
just likes talking shit in the
no.
comments.
I listen. I want to hear what he has to say. I want to hear what he has
Wes,
to say.
would you
This was
do?
I enjoy. I enjoyed this.
No,
I
I
just
did
want to hear
too.
what he has to say.
I think you have some interesting insight. I mean, and we can agree to disagree on some of it. It's not about being yes men and women, right? Don't blame Aquarius. Listen, don't get me started on that. Anyway,
All right.
um,
No, this was a nice discussion. I appreciate your perspective as
and
always.
I
As always, I
appreciate yours
appreciate your
too.
perspective. But put Wes on. I want to listen to him
Wes,
talk.
what? Listen, Wes is comic relief. He just likes to he just likes to get in here and talk shit.
Right. He one of
Wes,
them.
would you
So
join? Because I bet you if I send him a request, he's gonna and then gonna add I'm gonna add Rob since he said I guarantee you he's not gonna accept it. But I'm gonna add Rob um because he said he has a different perspective. Well, and I'd like to know what that perspective is.
I mean, I would like to listen to it, but like I said, I enjoyed this. I appreciate you as always.
Well, and I appreciate you too. Okay, that's fine.
Peace.
I understand, Wes. That's fine.
All
Um,
right.
see you later. Bye bye. Okay. Um, so shout out to Fason Couture. Go follow him. He has some dope apparel. So put your information in the chat. Tim, do you have any thoughts on accountability, personal accountability, professional, relationship wise that you want to share? You have any tricks or anything that you want to share about how you take accountability and responsibility uh for yourself? Um in the meantime, Rob Jr., I'm gonna send you. I hope. Well, let's see what your perspective is. Let's see what you're talking about. Um, um, okay, I'm sending you a request, so hopefully you will join. Anyone else has? Yeah, I definitely didn't agree about the therapy piece, but we don't have to agree. It's just not for him. Um, look, I I I tried to get the women, on here to refute what y'all are saying. I mean, but I guess I gotta hold it down for the ladies. As I said, personally speaking, if I am wrong, I can admit it. I mean, I might not admit it like immediately, but I do try to. No, I'm not doing that. We're not perpetuating that dynamic of black on black violence. Okay, well, wait a minute now. You didn't told me you wanted to join. Now you weren't able to join. You killing me. Mom, do you have anything that you'd like to add? I really hate that no other women got on here because now y'all just have this perception that women don't take accountability. And like I said, I don't date women, so I can't speak for what they may do in a relationship. I know women that are enlightened and will take responsibility for their mistakes. Y'all just gotta choose better, right? Like y'all tell us. Isn't that what y'all always tell us? Earn, do you want to get on here? Earn, Tuck, Kimani. Tim, put a shirt on so you can get on here. I'm gonna send you a request, and if not, I'm gonna wrap this up. Yeah. So anyway, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Oh, stop. Thank you. Black Superman. I mean, I think that might be an exaggeration, but I'll take it anyway. Yeah, so nobody else has any strategies they want to share about how you employ account. Is that Tim?
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay. Hi.
What's up, Becky Beck?
How are you? You should just get
Hanging
on
in
here
there. Hanging
like,
in.
yeah, my mama takes responsibility and accountability. Yeah. Because she raised me right. That's how we do. I don't know who these chicks are y'all dealing with.
I think it's funny that you had a whole entire pod about accountability and not and the women not showing up.
You know what? The thing is, no. So the thing is that,
They
you
run from
know,
that shit, don't they?
or
Accountable what?
shut up. On my no, I'm not gonna lie. So on my platform, I do have a lot of male followers. But so I do try
Uh,
to I do try to encourage, the ladies, but the ladies, like I have to reach out to them in advance because they're not
right.
going to just hop on here.
Hopefully I bring on some. Hopefully I bring on some.
Yeah, you do
I
that.
know, right? They be all up in her inbox, yo. I
Whatever.
you know, I know I love a woman that like to be accountable. Like, if you don't get your clown ass out her fucking inbox, you
Oh
know,
my God.
I need a woman that can submit and be accountable. You probably got all the podcast niggas in your inbox, yo.
Submit. No, they definitely is not in my inbox because you can submit the dude nut. Anyway, go ahead.
Hey, yeah. What you feel about accountability though? What I missed? I didn't get your take on it.
Okay, so in the beginning I was talking about basically how like part of adulting is being accountable and well being responsible, and somebody was trying to tell me that responsibility and accountability are not the same, but when you look up the definition of accountability it actually says responsibility, so whatever. Anyway,
I thought it was the same.
exactly, it is. The
Who said
point,
it wasn't? Was it a guy?
yeah, but it doesn't matter. I don't think he was trying to like nitpick it. The point is, um I was talking about how like sometimes in the story, like our personal stories, right? Some people will always play either the hero or the victim in their story, never the villain or like an antagonist. And
Right,
you're
right,
not
right, right, right.
always right. So sometimes you're the villain.
Facts.
And I personally don't like being accountable doesn't always feel nice, right? Because it's admitting that you were wrong in a situation, and people don't generally like to admit when they're wrong. But sometimes you're wrong.
Facts.
Sometimes it's you. And so I kind of was just talking about how um like do you take personal responsibility in professional and personal situations, or do you try to deflect and shift blame on other people? Is it always somebody else's fault? um I also talked
Nah,
about like I'm sorry.
I will be the first to say, like, people who know me will probably be the first to say that I'm first to be like, yo, it was me, my bad.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? My
yeah,
my
I
fault.
feel like I feel like you you are not in that percentage of people at all. But a lot of people are too prideful to admit. And I'm like, and I can't deal with, like, that's a big turn off to me, dating a man who doesn't have the ability to, like, put his ego aside and admit he's wrong. And again, the men are in here talking about, well, women don't want to. I posted in my story, which it was funny, I'm not gonna lie. It was a diagram of like men and women saying they're sorry. So the guy sort of drew
I
on,
saw that.
yeah, it was hilarious. And the woman's like, and I don't,
Right. It was definitely true though. It was definitely true
I'm
though.
not gonna say it might not take you going through all of that to get there, but I'll say if I was wrong, and I might have to like reflect on
But
it.
I felt that, but I think that, or you could just be wrong and we could just
Oh,
move
you
on.
know what I cannot stand is when somebody will say, "I'm sorry you took it that way." You know
Like,
what?
bitch, no, you said it that way. Fuck
Yeah,
out of here.
just say you're sorry and leave it at that, please.
Right.
Because to me, it's
I
a
had a
backhanded ass way to apologize. Now, some people are hypersensitive, right?
yeah.
And so like you constantly have to be apologize, or they constantly are expecting you to apologize to them for things. That's also annoying. Like, stop acting like you acting like a little right now.
Right.
Like,
Now I feel like listen, I had a woman I had made a post on Facebook. It was
let's
that it mind you, this is like regular shit, right? It was like I was having my 20-year anniversary for high school, right? And I was like, damn, I'm looking for trying to look for a Met Gala concept for men. It's gonna be trash out here because everybody gay. You know, a little jokey joke. I just say, yo, looking for a Met Gala look for men is crazy. I might as well just put on a black tee or some black ones because this shit look crazy out here. I get an
now you
inbox.
know you getting gonna get canceled talking crazy
It's,
like that.
listen, I get an inbox from a friend. You're not gonna find a look. I'm like, what you mean? Met Gala is not even. I don't even know why Baltimore is having a Met Gala. I'm like, yo, I'm not going to the Baltimore Met Gala. I'm preparing for a whole different event. I'm just looking for ideas to inspire my look. You're not going to find that because Met Gala isn't just a look. It's like a thing. It's a me. That you wanted to go down the history of why the Met Gala was in, it was in the Hollywood and this, that, and the third, and the white man did this, that, and the third. And I was like, yo, I'm, I don't mean no harm, but I ain't asked you for none of this shit. I didn't, I didn't ask you, right? I just made a post. I didn't ask you. You did ask because you put it on the public platform, and I didn't ask you, yo. She was mad as a hung up, blocked me on all social media. Like she was mad,
Was
mad.
this
I
somebody?
just said, okay,
This
whatever.
was somebody you knew,
Yes, this is somebody I
like
knew. This is why I'm
friends?
going into it. I'm going into it because of this accountability shit.
Okay.
I ain't said shit to her. She blocked me, did all that shit. I ain't say shit. She did not say sorry. She did not apologize. She just seen me out somewhere one day and tried to keep it cool. And I don't talk no shit. What's up, yo? It's because I'm all love.
Yeah.
I'm not no drama,
Yeah.
and that's just how she is. You know what I mean? But it's like that was unnecessary. You ain't, and you still ain't say sorry, and that's the part that I don't like.
Then I think you
Like,
have
don't do
look,
shit.
if you consider that somebody that, like, I don't know how close you are to the person, but I'm saying if you consider that somebody that you want to sustain a relationship with, or you're close enough to them, then you should be able to go to them and be like, yo, like, this isn't really
Oh no.
sitting right with
So
me.
here's the thing. It's a friend, right? So it's like I know how they are, right? It's more like one of them type thing. Like I'm not even gonna waste my breath in trying to get you
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
apologize because I know you're not. But I know you know that you're wrong.
Yeah.
I know that you know that you're wrong. And she unblocked you. She tried to unblock me, but like I'm like I don't accept friend requests. Like once you
Exactly.
unfollow or unblock, I don't read. Like you
Yeah.
should have stayed. Now you want to come in. You can't come in the
Yeah,
club now.
we're not spinning a block, and I hate when people do
Not at
that
all.
too. Like, okay, if you want to go, that's cool. Then stay gone. Like, don't
Yeah.
come back around here, biatch.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Once you gone, you gone. And it's like, all right, you're lost and I don't care.
Exactly.
And I'm very much like I can detach real fast. It's like a gift and a curse. You know what I mean?
What what's your sign?
I'm
Look,
gonna say
I'm not all in the, zodiacs like that. However, there's some
there's some
like
truth. There's some truth
there's some
to a
truth
lot
to
of them,
it. See, but that's
for
why we,
sure.
oh, I forgot. That's why we vibe, because there's
Absolutely.
some
You
fire
know,
signs,
big honor, gang, gang.
big facts. Yeah, so but again, basically it was just um the conversation was like, okay, so we can end on this. Your personal goals, like how do you manage to be accountable for your personal goals, because that's something that I struggle with. Like, I'm a serial winger. Like, I'll have ideas and I'm like, "Ooh, I should do so and so and so and so." And I'll write notes to myself, and it's kind of like when you're scrolling, online or whatever, you see something, you screenshot it to save it for later because you're going to do this, that, and the third way. You never look at that thing again, right? It's
Right.
kind of like that's what's happening in my brain. And, you know, as I had said earlier, there are people who are like naturally very strategic, they're very organized, they're very like methodical, they're very regimented. And I think those type of people tend to probably be more successful because they can block out like all of the distraction and just get to whatever goal it is that they have, because they
Right.
are hardwired that way. I am not hardwired that way, so it is a struggle for me to like, okay, I said I wanted to do this. I didn't tell anybody else I want to do it. So nobody knows that I'm not meeting, this goal except me.
Right.
So I might feel like, you know,
You
pitying
got away
myself
with
on
something
the
a little
inside.
bit.
Right. I might feel like bad and guilty myself, but nobody else might know about it. And so that is where personal accountability comes into play. And so I want to kind of understand what, other than just kind of doing something, if there are tricks that people use to help them remain accountable for, the goals that they have. Or I don't know, maybe I need to go to one of them sessions to teach me. I don't know, but
I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Most of that is like you got to break the habit of not keeping your word to yourself. That's a habit in itself, right?
yep,
So like I'm glad you even talking about this now because this is literally what I'm going through right now. There's so many things that I've said I need to do,
yep,
and I'm just putting them out there because I need, like, again, holding myself accountable, right? I've been saying I need to get my real estate license together.
hmm,
I got until February to get it, or I got to go to school all over again. So I got to do that.
okay,
I got to I'm moving like the end of the month, so I got to get some shit done for that. I got my premiere coming up. I got to do more advertising. All these things, right? And what I've learned is that I got so much shit going on that I miss a lot. So I say, all right, I'm gonna use my calendar. My calendar is gonna keep me in line.
yep,
I put my calendar in, but even then, sometimes I still don't get it. Like I say, I get to it, and I don't ever get to it.
yep,
So now I got a homegirl who's having the same issue that you're talking about right now, and she hit me up, and I'm like, yo, I'm going through the same shit. So now we hold each other accountable. So I call her up, like, yo, what you got planned for the week? Boom, I got boom. Yo,
oh,
what you got planned for the week? Hey, yo, I got boom, boom, boom planned. And we call each other, we check in throughout the week, like, yo, what did you get accomplished?
that is the same thing that Honor and I were starting to do at one point. And so we actually just scheduled an accountability meeting, and we talked about how we were going to format it. And I said, okay, be organized and
Right.
planning. Like, she's certainly better in that regard than I am, but like, then,
As far as the organization is concerned, but then it's the execution.
well, yes, no, but even in that regard, like, there's certain things I will stick with.
Okay.
And so I don't know why it is that, like, if it's because certain things seem more like tedious to me, Um, and it's more, like mundane. It's more of the like, oh, I don't feel like doing this, so I'll get to it when I get to it. But like avoiding doing those little things is stopping me from getting to the bigger picture goal. And I know you have to, like they say, you have to do something habitually for 21 days to make it a habit. Like even with the, and I keep going back to the working out because it's a good example. Like I knew that I wasn't going to be able to, at the weight I had gotten to when I decided I needed to enlist the help of a trainer, I wasn't going to be able to do it on my own.
You've been
He was
doing
my
that shit faithfully for a long time. Like, I would love to know how you even got that started because I need to get back in the gym myself. I'm out here looking like BG and shit. Like, I need to get my
stop
life in
it.
order. Like,
Stop.
I'm just saying,
How
yo.
how I how I got it started was, as I said, I had like I've always been pretty active throughout my life. Um, and so my weight wasn't really like fluctuating all crazy. I mean, of course, as I've gotten older, like my weight had gone up, but then I had the extra womanly curves. You know
Shout
what I'm saying?
out
So,
to God. Shout out to God.
but but then it got to a point like in my 40s. Again, the older you get, the harder it is to kind of, sustain and
Maintain.
maintain or whatever. And I think the the notion that you can just kind of again wing it, you can't sort of plan it, you can't do it when you feel like it, you can't do it, oh well, I got this trip coming up, I got a vacation coming up. It has to be a lifestyle, not about like trying to do it to meet a
Don't,
goal.
don't judge me, yo.
Listen, ignore him. He again, just
Listen,
like
yo. I'm
just like
I'm
a
I'm
comedian.
relaxing, yo.
He's comic relief. But anyway, I I was just eating and like being sedentary, and like my commute was long and I had an excuse for everything, not being accountable, right? I would work out sporadically. I just was, doing a lot of shit that's counterproductive to having the body that I wanted, right? And I was in my 40s. So it wasn't gonna suddenly snap back to, my 20s body.
Absolutely won't.
So
Absolutely won't just snap back. You got to work for that.
yeah, and so and like the way I'm built, um, like I kind of gain weight all over. So even though I
In a
can,
good way, right?
which that,
In a good way, right?
eh,
Well, well,
I
to you, was it good?
perceive it to be
Right.
in a problematic way, although my clothes were not fitting the way I wanted them to. But then I got on the scale, even though I could see that I was gaining weight, and I was
Once you that
whatever.
the numbers make it
Yeah, I
real.
was like, oh hell no.
The numbers
Hell
make it
no.
real.
I had met him a couple years prior, actually, and I've been following him for a while. And then I saw this one transformation that he posted. And, I know he trains celebrities and stuff. So I was like, he's going to be too expensive. Um, but
He
I
gave
hit
you a
him up
break.
at, what'd you say?
He gave you a break.
Was his rate, but I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I mean, although I
it's
think
worth it.
he probably could charge more than he does, but this was before he kind of had his own, thing, his own place. And um so I reached out to him, and whatever it was, that he quoted me, I was like, you know what? It's an investment in my health. Like this isn't a game. I have high blood pressure, which is hereditary. Um, it could have been attributable to like my weight wasn't helping, right? And I'm like, and I didn't feel good about the way I was looking. I said, I need help. So I saw the transformation he did. And once I paid my money, that was my incentive. Like, oh no, I'm
Right,
not going to
nigga.
waste my
I'm going.
money. He said a 90-day transformation. The first, I'd say the first 2 months, I was kind of like, I was, do the workouts with him, but my diet was like, because I usually have to work out and then I'll like start adapting changes to my eating. But while he would train me, he would kind of drop gems on me, throughout the course of the session. Um, And something he
So
said
what
to
I'm
me one session in
what
particular really resonated.
okay.
And I locked in, and then I saw, the difference. I said, okay, training. And then, weight started
So
coming down.
what I'm hearing is I'm hearing you identified the problem.
Hmm.
After you identified the problem, you had to get slapped in your face, right, by the
Yeah,
scale because you knew the problem.
yeah,
Then the scale said, "Bitch, this what it is." You was like, "Okay, fuck this. I'm not with none of this shit. What I need to do?"
yeah.
You researched, right? You researched. You found somebody that was equipped with the tools that you needed to get to where you wanted to be, right? You invested with some, which is the part that people leave out. Because if you don't invest in it, you know what I mean. They say if you don't put no money into it, you're really not gonna care about it. If somebody said I'll train you for free, you wouldn't even be there. You wouldn't even be there. So you invested, and then you put in the work. And as you put in the work, you got motivated by your professional trainer, and you made that shit happen.
Listen to you spitting.
I'm
Listen
just
to you
saying. That's what it sounds
spitting.
like. See, you got the whole thing down pat. Boom, boom, boom. I might have to write that down so I can do that shit because I've been fucking up.
I'm gonna save this.
Yo
I'm saving
said just
it.
get a nigga from jail
I'm saving it, so you will definitely have your good advice, to
for
reference
sure.
again.
No, you're good. You're good advice. I'm just listening to what you
I
saying.
just
I love it
I followed instructions. I mean, and even in the beginning, I was still being hard. Look, even up to today. Now I haven't seen him in a couple months, and I do intend to go back because I miss my Fit Fam. Um, but even to today, like there's certain measures that they've put in place was or one of the measures that they put in place was this like scanner. It's kind of like a scale that you step on. I mean, it takes all these different measurements of your body.
you saw the electricity through your body and give you your body mass and all that shit.
Yeah, but so not just
Yeah.
a body mass, like very like your skeletal muscle mass, your lean muscle mass, like
Oh
your
shit.
water weight, your visceral fat, like which is a big deal because that's the fat surrounding your organs that like could potentially make you have a heart attack and yada yada yada, right? So
Right.
um looking at that, because again, you look at yourself on the outside, you think, okay, like you know like okay, I still have a little more body fat than I would like to, but but overall I think I look pretty damn good. um
And you
and
and you do.
but
Come on now.
like when
You
I
know what
get
it's
on,
all for me?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's that first. It's like that first couple of days, and then after you start hurting and shit, I bitch up. I be like, man, fuck that. I need to
I'm,
heal.
try-
I'm a
I'm
rest. I need to
trying to
heal.
tell you, I'm trying to tell you that's why I needed somebody, because people have sometimes been in there, cried, thrown up, like throwing up at the studio is like your initiation. I never
That's
actually
crazy.
did it. I never actually did it,
Oh, he be
but
working the shit out of y'all.
what, what? I never actually did it, but I will never forget my first session. One of the last things he had me do was bear crawls. And
Mm,
like going, back and forth, kind of like you were doing suicides.
right.
And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna throw up. He's like, and like, so if you do, just do
You
it
want
and come
me to hold
back.
your hair?
I was like, he's a tyrant. So
But you also did it
he's
though. Some
he's
people give up at that
effective
point.
as he's effective as F.
Yeah.
So nah, I mean, and that's really what the distinction is. Like if you was having me do all this stuff and then I wasn't seeing the results, but it's not just the accountability that I take to seeing him. Because one of the things that he always used to talk about was like I see you 3 hours, because if you go to him 3 days a week, I see you three
Oh,
hours
okay. I'm about to
out of
say,
the week.
damn, that's a long ass
No, no,
session.
no, no. I see you three
A
hours,
week. Got
3 hours out of 160 something hours in a week, right?
got you.
So it's up to you to like make the change, and like the people who like really lock in and make the changes in their diet and like follow the regimen and do the bike sprints in between, they will drop that like it's as like he said, other trainers that I worked with said, like, numbers don't lie.
It's
It's all about,
up to you.
it's about the caloric deficit, it's about the weights, and it's about, high intensity interval training if you're
Whoa,
trying to
whoa, whoa,
lose body fat.
whoa, whoa, Miss Trainer Lady. Whoa, Miss Trainer Lady. Using all what the fuck is any of that shit?
It is
I
it's
know. Pick
like
this up, put it
it's a
down.
sprinting. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but it's the hit cardio is sprinting. It's
I'm about to hire you to be my trainer, yo. Like,
I mean,
sound like
look,
you know your
I don't,
shit.
I don't have a certification. I mean, I got a couple, 2, 3 exercises saved in my phone, but nah, I would always direct y'all to go see my people, because my people well, you're in Baltimore,
Yeah.
so it's different.
Baltimore.
But anyway, not to go off on a tangent about that, but that's my favorite example to use, because that was a situation where I was being accountable, and um and I have to get back to that level of
But tell
accountability,
me a time
because
where you wasn't, where you was supposed to be accountable, and you knew you were supposed to be accountable. You didn't hold yourself accountable. Give me one of them. Give me some juicy stuff. I want to know.
so I've been talking for years about this idea that I have and have been wanting to develop, but I have a million excuses as to why I haven't yet. And one of them, speaking of the investment piece, is like, well, I need more money. I need more money to develop it. So let me do these other things to get the money, and then I can work on that.
Mm.
People have given me advice, they've given me suggestions, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds really good. Haven't like I might like research it a little bit, but I won't really take it to the next step. And then uh, time is passing, and I'm not making any progress, or any like significant progress towards
What is it?
bringing it to fruition.
What is?
Well, I'm not going to tell y'all on here.
Why not?
Tell
Because you want to be held accountable.
No, it's because because I don't want nobody trying to take my idea. I would tell you though. I would tell you. Honor
Okay.
knows. I've talked to her about it. I've talked to a few people about it, but I'm not telling. I'm not telling you.
Take this into consideration. If you say it out loud and in front of people, that will hold you accountable to actually do the shit before somebody tries to take your idea.
It's so the thing is,
Mm. 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 Because now it's out there in the world. It's like, oh shit, that is a good idea, but they can't. It's your idea. Can't nobody do it like you do it. You understand? So if you say it out loud, that's going to force you to be on your shit, because oh shit, now somebody else might have that opportunity to do that. Because opportunities don't leave; they just pass on to the next person.
true. Not yeah. See,
I'm
I'm
just,
I'm with my mama. I mean, I hear you, but and the thing
mama say
is,
no.
my mama said, get somebody else to
All right,
do it.
mama. Mama said if you do, somebody else gonna do it.
Enough, no, well, not get some. You know what the hell I mean?
I,
Like,
I
like
feel
the
you. I
old
feel you.
lady, like the old lady. Anyway, but so before I wrap up, um, do you have any? Because that was very insightful. I thought the way you put that together. Um, do you have anything else
I
you
do
want
all right.
to share? Huh?
What would I like to share?
About
Oh, matter of fact,
accountability.
boom. Y'all, everybody, including you, I don't know if you even noticed or not, I got a movie coming out on
Call
September the
me.
30th. September the 30th.
My mom is calling
September the
me.
30th.
Uh
She said, don't you listen to that nigga.
huh. Not gonna
She
tell
ain't gonna do it,
mom.
mama. She said she ain't gonna do it.
Okay, I'm not telling. Relax. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I got a movie coming out September 30th. It's
Excellent.
called Check Please.
Okay.
It's the premiere is coming out. It's going to be in Baltimore, Flagship Cinema, 6 to 9 p.m. When I tell you this shit is going to be hilarious, this is going to be the movie that changes my life in real life. I really want you to come out, Becky. If you ain't doing
Wait,
shit, come
you said
out.
September 30th?
September 30th. I don't want to hear
Excellent.
you got nothing to do. You got to. It's a Saturday. You have to be there. I don't want to hear it.
I'm coming. I'm there. I'm there. I'm
The
being
link is in my
accountable,
bio.
telling you right now, I'm gonna be
Look,
there.
I got 11 people on here saying that they hear you saying that you're gonna
No,
be there. So those 11 people can come
no.
too.
Send me, send me the information. You probably posted it. I'm gonna put it on my
I'm gonna inbox it.
calendar.
I'm gonna inbox it
Yes,
directly to you. I'm gonna
you
inbox it
do.
directly to you. Matter of fact, I got your number.
Yes,
Yeah, I can
you do have
text it
my
to you now.
number. So
I
yes,
sure
do
do.
that. Excellent.
But yeah,
Well, I will for sure be there, and
and
everybody
like your
knows.
man said, I'm gonna stop. This will probably be my last night drinking and smoking, so I can start. I'm gonna have to because I gotta fast. I gotta get my mind right. There's a lot of stuff that I really do need to get in order. So I think fasting is a part of that too, right? Telling your body no, so you can be no, you know what I mean,
Wes,
doing
I
what you do.
hate you. He says she ain't gonna come and not take accountability. I hate him.
She's gonna be like, "Oh my God, I forgot." I'm gonna
No,
send it to her directly. Yo, she ain't gonna have no choice.
no, I'm not. Anyway,
And
it will
honor
be.
coming, so you can come on
Of
honor. Boom, honor
course,
coming.
of
So you got
course,
to be there.
of course.
And y'all got to be there too. Wes, bring your ass out, man. September 30th.
He's
My man
he's
Akio.
in BK.
Akio is coming.
Okay, all right, representing. So
Absolutely.
yes, we will be there to support you, and
I love it.
I look forward to it.
I love it. Thank you,
Yeah.
gorgeous. I
Well,
appreciate
I
you.
appreciate you. Thank you for joining me this evening, and so you can see yourself out, so I can say goodnight to the people.
Go ahead, right?
What's
Go
your
ahead and
information?
do your closing
What's
remarks.
your information about the movie in the chat before you go?
Yeah. Just follow me. I'll put my handle up there. Follow me. Link is in my bio.
Hollywood Tim
There it is.
with multiple M's, I think.
Hollywood 10 with 2 M's.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, Bill.
My man said he trying to be he trying to be stepdad real bad. My man flipping on the grass. He ain't hit the brake not once.
He is hilarious.
Look, he ain't hit
Hilarious.
the brake not once. He on your ass.
I know Wes. Anyway. All right. So okay,
All right, love. I'm out of here.
fine. Good night. Thanks for coming out. God bless you and all that good stuff. Okay, so thank y'all for hanging. I know, per usual, I like to do a little overtime. But my man was spitting, and I hope y'all learned something about accountability and plan to be accountable to yourselves and in your relationships. And you know, I'll see y'all next Wednesday. Peace to fingers.